Alright boys, we in the car right now. We're gonna crush a lower body session, or at least I am. Got the little man here. Little man, he's a grown ass man, but you know, he's a little small. He's trying his first pre-workout drink today. What you got? The Amino Energy cherry flavor plus electrolytes, you know what I'm saying? No cramps. Optimal performance. I got my Rainbow Sherbet, I don't even know. I love this shit, so good. Cripplingly addicted. Rain, I promise you, if you sponsor me, you won't regret it. I'll do anything. Just, as long as I get a lifetime supply, I'll do anything, please. You can't turn me into an addict and then not compensate me, bro, come on. Alrighty, so we're gonna open this bad boy up with power shrugs. Now, I know that might be a weird one to start off a lower body session with, but the reason why, I'm just kind of experimenting with it. Before, I would have the power shrugs as my third exercise in my kind of in my sequence here, but I find that doing the little hip drive movement in the bottom portion, I lose stability when my legs are pretty exhausted. So we're going for 3 sets of 10 with 250 pounds, and it's going to be my opening lift, going into it fresh. I definitely felt the difference. I definitely felt stronger. I felt more stable. You can see how hard the traps are working, guys. If your goal is to build a big pair of traps, the power shrug is going to do you right. This is definitely a movement you're going to want to at least try out, throw into your routine, and see how it goes. It's been doing wonders for me, and I've only been doing it for a handful of weeks now. And then moving on, we're doing the heel elevated Platz squat. Now this is kind of like a meat and potatoes for the session. This is where the majority of the quad volume is, and these have been doing really good for my quads as well. Not gonna lie, in this session, my knees were feeling a little cracky, they were feeling a little achy, and so I was a little bit worried about how my performance might go, but my little brother thinks he's so funny, zooming into my butt cheeks, but I warmed up thoroughly, and as the sets progressed, it did start feeling a lot better and better and better. And so this is 185. I'm doing it for 5 here. It's a warm-up set. The aim is we're gonna get 200 pounds for 3 sets of 12, and that's the goal for this session. And if I get it, that is it's a big achievement. So here we go. This is the first time loading up 200 pounds on this movement. I started it from the ground up at 155 pounds on the bar for the same amount of sets and reps. So now that I'm at 200, you know, it's a lot of progress, and I've definitely seen the growth in my quads. They literally added an inch to my legs, and it's made a big freaking difference. And you can see here the strain is real, guys. The reps are getting grindier. One thing I will say, I did lose some depth here in a couple of the reps, which isn't great. But I chalked that up to just being a little bit exhausted. And in the later sets, I did fix that issue. So overall, the depth was good. It just wasn't as deep as it should be, like in a couple of these reps. The goal is to go acid grass on these and get as much quad stimulation as possible. And as well, I like supersetting these with calf raises. So in between sets and rest periods, I'll do calf raises. And for the calf raises, I just do 3 sets of 15 with progressively heavier weight. So if I get 15 reps on each set, I just add 5 pounds to the stack and then build up from there. These have been doing pretty good numbers for my my calves. They actually are getting bigger. You can see them popping through. That gastroc, I think it's called, is poking through. It's looking meatier. It's looking more developed, more defined, and so that's nice to see. Moving on, we're doing Romainian deadlifts. The way that I like to do these is I go very wide on the grip, kind of like a snatch grip. The reason why I do that is that I get more activation in my upper back by doing it, so I get more bang for my buck. The Romainian deadlift is one of my favorite exercises to do for building up the posterior chain, and I think it's far superior to pulling from the ground and doing a regular deadlift. This is pretty much my go-to movement as far as hip hinging. Here I have 210 pounds on the bar. We're aiming for 3 sets of 8, And not gonna lie, going into it, my lower back was actually pretty exhausted, and I wasn't really sure if this was a good idea. But the thing was, I chalked it up. I chalked it up to just mental fatigue, and so I just went and did it anyway. Not exactly the smartest thing to do, but I think this is a pretty important lesson as far as auto regulation goes. Just because in a workout you're not necessarily feeling the freshest, you're not feeling the most energetic, you should still aim for the goal that you set out for during that workout. And I'm glad that I did, because I do end up getting 3 sets of 8 with 210 pounds, and it really wasn't much of a hassle. My lower back was just fine. And so that's how I like to go about my training. It's really good to be able to auto-regulate when the pain you feel is something you should actually be worried about, or if it's just superficial and all in your head. And the better you're able to tell those apart, the better your training is going to get, because you're going to be good at pushing your limits and knowing your actual limits, and not just the limitations that you set mentally for yourself. And I think at the end of the day, that's how you make the best progress. That's how you make the most gains. It's a pretty important skill, and I'm trying to get as good at it as possible, because, well, if I don't, I'm not going to really make much progress. Look at that. Face of a champion right here. All right, moving on, we're doing some Nordic curls. Now, so the reason that I do these is for knee health. I do these for athleticism, and I do these for just conditioning of that hamstring. And the reason why I do this, even though it's not necessarily the best for hypertrophy, is because I find that all the other benefits as far as knee health and, you know, added athleticism is pretty good, and it's a movement that's worth that putting in, despite its kind of shortcomings when it comes to hypertrophy. And the thing is, if you get strong at these and you are able to do full range of motion reps, which you, at that point, you're a freaking monster, they do get you some big old hamstrings. And they're pretty painful. You can see me just suffering. I'm writhing. Moving on, I'm finishing off with side bends with a hyperextension. I've got 10 pounds in my hand. Reason why I do these is, well, I got a wide waist, right? And so if I'm going to have a wide waist, I'm definitely not going to have a weak waist. So I train my core pretty much every day, and I try to get progressively stronger and stronger as I go, because being able to brace and being able to have a strong core when you're doing those compound movements is pretty important, so it shouldn't be something that you neglect. A weak core will, in the end, limit you guys, so I do recommend on your lower body days throwing in some ab work of some sort where bracing is an important key factor, so that it can carry over to your squats, your overhead press, your deadlift, whatever compound lift you do, where bracing is an important part of the lift. All right, boys, we got the post-workout meal here. We got some thinly cut sirloin with mushrooms. I think these are called baby Bella mushrooms. Big fan of mushrooms, big fan of red meat, love steak. Super micronutrient dense, really good for recovery. So these are the type of things that I like to eat after my workout, just to kind of get everything that I need as far as building up my tendons, building up my muscles, and just making sure that I'm refueling and getting stronger and building that muscle. I got a LaCroix on the side, you know what I'm saying? Or LaCroix, whatever you like to call it. Big fan of these as well. 0 calories, decent flavor. I enjoy them, you know, carbonated bev, something nice to tickle the throat. Pause. Then we got some educational content, you know what I'm saying? We got some Peter Kacharian, you know, these 10 muscles build the 10 exercises build the most muscle, or whatever. So yeah, educational content. Always consume, always get smarter. All right, see y'all later. Get jacked, get stacked.